Without that relationship, without that ongoing practice, without that ongoing conversation, I would have no idea where my gifts met their need.
You're listening to Making the Maven with best-selling author and business strategist, Michelle McGlade. Each week, you get expert advice from innovative leaders in the health and wellness industry, loads of inspiration from top-notch women in business, and support and guidance from Michelle herself. Looking for the magical pixie dust to create a successful business? You've definitely landed in the wrong place. Looking for proven strategies that work and action steps to build your dream practice? Then stick around, because we are making you the Maven.
Hello, Mavens, and welcome to episode 55. I have the beautiful, beautiful Dr. Gabby in the house, Dr. Gabrielle Pellicci, and she's a rock star. I just love talking to her, and every once in a while you make a really strong connection with individuals, and she is one of them. She's a former fashion model, no kidding, turned very passionate professor, career coach, primarily for women and wellness. And she has a PhD. She did a really, really, really interesting paper on women and wellness. We get into that in this interview, but really had made her journey over to the wellness industry after having that pressure to lose weight and be ultra thin in the modeling industry certainly took its toll on her. And she talks about how she really found a passion to move beyond that unhealthy lifestyle and just really embarked on a journey of her own, a transformational journey that she actually describes as the healer's journey to self-care through surrounding herself with community. We get into some of her secrets to success. I don't know if they're secrets by now, but she talks about the importance of mentorship and the role it's played for her and her business, how formal education has really helped her to grow her business faster, which I find fascinating because none of my guests thus far have talked about formal education really being a catalyst for their career, which I also believe is extremely important. And then certainly she gets into the importance of solving problems for your clients and really understanding what those problems are in their own language. I could not agree more. Gabby is phenomenal. Her breadth of knowledge is extremely admirable. She's studied everything from Buddhist philosophy to neuroscience. She's well traveled. And because of that, really understands a lot of the unconventional ways that you can be living a healthy lifestyle. And she's out there. She's out there spreading the word through her teaching at universities like Mind Body Medicine and Holistic Health. She's got her own podcast. I'll put links to it in the show notes. You are going to love her, I hope, as much as I do. So, without further delay, let's get started. You know, one of the things that Dr. Gabby talks about is this healer's journey, and that has inspired me in a greater way to share my story and my journey towards wellness and the wellness industry. And then just building on the fact that I was at Podcast Movement the previous week and hearing all about the importance and power of story, I wanted to really put that information out there to you so that you begin to think about how powerful your journey is and how powerful your story is. I know so many of you come to the wellness industry just like me. You have past struggles. You are not given a lot of options, and you really embark on this journey of transformation and self-learning and self-care and growth, and you want to share that with the world. So I want to encourage you to continue to share your story, to feed your passion, and know that you really are on a journey of transformation, and to use that passion as fuel because I see that you are hiding. I see that you are not being visible in the biggest way that you can for yourself and for those who need you. So I really want to challenge you to remember that story, connect with that story, share that story, and be unapologetic about it because the world needs more healers like you. All right, now let's hear more from Dr. Gabby. Hello, Gabby. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Michelle. Thanks for having me.
Well, when I came across you, whenever I see anybody in the health and wellness industry really making an impact and helping other, I guess, health and wellness experts be successful, I just absolutely have to talk to you. Talk to them. And
I'm excited to talk to you. I have the same philosophy. Whenever I see anyone in this space, I send them a message like, hey, can we be friends?
Yeah, because there's not that many of us.
I know.
And I didn't even ask, where in the world are you?
Oh, I'm in Miami right now. I'm a bit of a nomad, so at any given point you'll find me in New York or LA or Miami or somewhere, but right now I'm in Miami.
Fabulous. Well, I'm tuning in from beautiful Vermont.
Oh, great. I did an awesome meditation retreat up there one time. It was so stunning.
I love it up here. Yeah, I don't know. I'm calmer. I'm more relaxed.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Okay, I digress. So before we start going off into the mountains and meditations and all that good stuff, share with us a little bit more about who you are and what you do.
So I'm a holistic health professor. I've been teaching for 10 years, and I'm also a career coach for women working in health and wellness. And I'm the author of a book called Blissful Business, a gorgeous guide to creating your dream career in health and wellness. And I guide people on a journey through their career and help them figure out where they can give talks and where they can write blogs and how they can find clients, how they can make money doing the work that they love. And it's just been an amazing experience. I didn't realize when I fell in love with holistic health about 20 years ago that this is where it would go. I just knew that I loved massage and I loved acupuncture and I loved yoga and meditation. And it just became a career for me over time. And now I'm helping other women who are also in this space to, figure out some of the things to do this as a living and not just as a hobby.
I love that. You just hit on two things that I'm really passionate about, which is make money so you're not just in a very expensive hobby.
Exactly.
And that's really an issue in our industry, even today, maybe one that people don't talk about openly.
About the hobby versus money?
Well, yeah. And about the fact that there's so many fabulous intuitive healers out there who are really struggling to even make it.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of shame around that because we love the perfection image. We love the pretty Instagram photos. We love the glamorous ladies saying how successful they are. We're so drawn to that, like the glossy magazines and the stuff underneath, the messiness, the how hard you have to work, the struggles of either working on your own and being isolated or trying to find the right team and having those challenges of finding people that are aligned with you, that have the same work ethic and same vision, or the money. Like, how do you create a financial plan that works? Like, do you work with people one-on-one? Do you do groups? Do you do online? Do you do offline? Like, all that stuff behind the scenes is not as attractive as like the pretty Instagram picture. So I feel like there's a lot of shame around it. The women that I talk to are often embarrassed that they are not as successful as we see, in the media or on social media, what we see from other people. So I like to demystify it right from the beginning. And when I talk to people from the very first time, I talk about the reality of the work. And I've been working in the industry for almost 20 years, so I can say, you can do this. You can have a career doing this. But the reality is it's going to be like this. And I can help you, but we have to get our feet on the ground. We have to get really grounded in the reality of what it is to do this work.
Yeah, amen to that, sister. I mean, like, I don't have anything to say. I'm like, yes, yes, yes,
Yes, and yes.
and I'm thrilled. I mean, we're just getting to know one another, but I'm so thrilled to hear that there's somebody else out there like yourself telling people this,
Right.
because it's not all big, beautiful, and easy to
Right.
be a business owner out on your own, and specifically a healer. I mean, besides the shame of not making any money, they're just frozen in fear of being visible, just the fear of being, like, I like to say, burned at the stake in
Mhm.
2016 for being a healer.
Mhm. Mhm.
But before okay, we're going way down. I want to hear a little, like, let's just get to the good stuff. But no, I do want to hear more about your business. You've been doing this 20 years. I got
Yeah.
the sense when you were introducing yourself, you came to holistic healthcare through maybe your own journey. Is that true?
Yeah, my dad was a physician. He was a neurologist and psychiatrist, and the MO in our house was anytime you were sick, medicine was thrown at you. Which, I mean, I loved learning about medicine and traditional medicine from my dad, from my family, and being surrounded by different medical practitioners. But it got to the point when I was like a teenager where medicine couldn't solve regular problems, right? I was like a stressed out teenager. I struggled with eating disorders a bit because my first career is modeling. And so in the modeling industry, they tell you not to eat. So I stopped eating for some time
I
and
think
I
you
had
just outed the modeling industry. I love it.
they're
Sorry.
just like, can you not eat? That's all they would say to me is like, can you just not eat?
Oh,
So I tried that for a while. That didn't work out so well. And then, you can't solve a lot of those kinds of problems like stress or psychological things with medicine. And so I found myself in my undergraduate program in psychology, learning about medicine. And we were introduced in this wellness fair to some holistic practitioners. And this woman, I remember this woman, she was doing reflexology on my feet. And it was like the most blissful thing I had ever experienced in my life. And I was like, wait a minute, like, I don't feel stressed right now. This is remarkable. And I just sort of fell down a rabbit hole. Some other things happened a few years later when I was 21. My mom passed away. And when she died, I had all these existential questions about, what's the meaning of life? What's the purpose of my life? And I found that my traditional upbringing as a Catholic schoolgirl didn't really answer those questions for me completely. So then I started seeking out Eastern philosophy and Buddhism and things like that for more options, and then fell madly in love with everything that was happening in the East. And it's sort of one thing led to another. And at first, I was in it for my own self study, my own self healing, just the sort of curiosity of the things that I had never heard of and never experienced before. And then I found that was really the kind of work that I wanted to be doing. And I would, at a couple different times when I would get like frustrated, I would try to step out and do something else. And nothing ever felt at home. Like when I am in the space of healers and healing and holistic things, I feel totally at home. Like, oh, this is my place. This is where I belong. And so I've stayed there for a long, long time now.
so, I mean, you have had quite an evolution, it sounds like, from modeling all the way now to business coach, really, for holistic
Yeah.
healers.
Hmm.
Are you a practitioner yourself, or how, I mean, I guess, how did your career and your business evolve over 20 years? Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So it started, what year is it? 2016. So it started, I was in my undergraduate program in psychology back in 1996. So that was 20 years ago. That's when I was first introduced to holistic modalities. So I did my first massage therapy training in 1999. Then I went on to do my master's degree. And then I did my complete massage training and energy medicine modality training called Healing Touch from 2001 to 2004. And then I went on to my PhD program where I researched different kinds of women healers. So I interviewed a dozen different women healers who were practicing acupuncture and shamanic healing and energy healing and chiropractic and body work. And I did my research study about them. And then during that time, during graduate school, I was practicing massage therapy and energy medicine. And then I enrolled in some yoga trainings. I did a Kundalini yoga training and a Jivamukti yoga training. And when I came out of my doctoral program, I decided that I wanted to teach. My advisor invited me to teach at my graduate school, and I taught a course, and it was just so much fun. And to share everything I was learning with other people was so satisfying. So for the last 10 years, I've primarily focused on the teaching as a career, but I've maintained a small private practice on the side. So I have taught yoga classes and done massage therapy and things while I've been teaching at the graduate level. But now this new transition, what happened unexpectedly again was that so many of my students that graduated from their programs in holistic health or yoga or massage or acupuncture, so many of them that came out into the world after graduation didn't have any idea how to do their career. So I had a similar experience when I was in grad school. So I got myself a mentor, and I had that mentor for 10 years. And he taught me everything from what to put on my resume to how to submit a proposal to a conference, how to write a book. Like, he taught me all of those things. And if I didn't have that, I wouldn't have been able to figure everything out, because there's some things you can Google, but like realistically, if you have a specific niche where you need support and you need guidance, you can't Google all of those things. So my students were contacting me and saying, hey, please help me. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do that. And that's where my community came from. I decided to build an online community and offer group coaching and private coaching and resources for them, so that they would have a place to go to get advice and to get that support that I had with my mentor in graduate school. So it just sort of evolved on its own, the whole thing, the whole career.
I love it. And just like like kind of the classic healer, you're like so well versed in a lot of different modalities. I love that.
Yeah, I think that it's kind of like, I feel like a kid in a candy store so much. For so many years, every time I would meet someone and they would say, I do theta healing, I'd be like, do it on me, do it on me, or I would meet someone who was giving a talk about some new meditation technique or something, and I'd be like, I want to try it. So it just happened that that interest just kind of complemented the things that I studied in school and gave me a big range of experience and expertise. But mostly it just came from a really kind of innocent place of, this is so much fun and I really want to know more, teach me more.
Absolutely. I mean, I think I see it as kind of rampant in our industry. If you have a love for this stuff, you have a love for it and you want to keep learning and growing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, with this long journey, I mean, there's ups and downs. So that's what I want to get to. So our listeners can really learn, from the things that have gone on in your career.
Mm-hmm.
What do you believe have really contributed to your longevity and just your overall success within this industry?
So I mentioned my mentor in grad school. In each of the different disciplines that I've studied, I've had unbelievable mentors. Like I had my yoga mentor that I was with for several years, my academic mentor that I was with, mentors in the healing touch modality, and even just a few years ago, I did this long training in mindfulness meditation. And my mentors, really, they were so generous in their time and their advice and their support that I really think that it would not be possible without that. And then the formal education, I think the formal education is really important. And this is something that I tell my students. It's great if you get like a certificate in something, but really if you want to do this as a career and you want to have all those options. So I've worked in drug and alcohol treatment centers, hospitals, doctors' offices, spas, people's homes, yoga studios. And the reason that I have so many job options available to me is because I have a license in massage and I have a PhD and I have multiple certifications. And that gives me so many options to make money so that I can support myself. Because if you have a very limited, narrow expertise and limited work options, I feel that it makes it much more difficult. So I'm a big advocate of getting education and training that's recognized, that opens doors for you, so that you can do the work. And then, really, the most important contribution to my success is my clients and my students. So everything I do and everything I study and everything I create comes from a desire to solve a problem for them, or to heal something, or to support them in some way. So just like I mentioned, my community coming out of this need that they expressed to me, without that relationship, without that ongoing practice, without that ongoing conversation, I would have no idea where my gifts met their need and how I could create value for them. So one of the things I see sometimes is people are really excited about something. And so, they're like, I'm going to have a YouTube channel, or I'm going to have a blog, or whatever they want to do. And they start putting out all this content, but it's not connected to the viewer or the client. And there's not a really deep awareness about what they need, and how you can serve them and how you can add value to them. And so, that can be really frustrating on the practitioner side, because you can say, oh, I'm creating all this content, but, I'm not generating any revenue. I'm not getting any clients. But if you don't really know and feel and understand what the people want, who you are serving, then I feel that you're really going to struggle to be successful.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. So how with your, I talk about this all the time too. So how with your, clients that you coach and your community, what do you recommend to them? How do they go about doing that?
Well, yeah. I mean, for all the different pieces that I talked about, I mean, I always recommend that they get the best education and training if they're serious about this. I recommend that they don't, if they have a job doing something else, that they don't just quit impulsively and start a practice without having a clear exit plan, and without creating some kind of structure, and projections and things. With regards to listening to what people want and need, I tell them that they need to do a lot of research. They need to ask questions. They need to read blogs. They need to, go around and hang out in the different forums. What kind of questions are people asking? What's missing? So, it's easy to kind of jump on this trend of like, okay, now everybody's offering acro yoga, or now everybody's offering raw food diets, or whatever. So you see that becomes popular and you want to jump on that. But what is unique about what you have to offer? So there has to be introspection and reflection. There has to be market research. What do people need in the market? Is it saturated? Is there space for you in the market? How can you serve people? And make those connections. And I write about that in my book. There's a lot of exercises in my book, which you can get for $10 on Amazon. And it goes through all these exercises that you can ask yourself, so you can start to figure this out before you create content and before you create programs that you don't know whether or not people want them.
Yeah, I find that this is like the real foundational stuff, like really understanding your unique selling proposition, what people want from you, what you have to offer, and really doing that market research. And I find everybody misses it. It kind of you have to slow down a bit and really invest time here and revisit it on a regular basis. Otherwise, you're just throwing, like you're saying, you're just throwing content out there that you don't even know if they want your clients.
Yeah. And even if you create content that you think that they want and you put it out there and you don't get a response, you have to keep tweaking it until you find that sweet spot. It could be the way that you messaged it. It could be the way you promoted it. It could be they don't really understand, or it's not priced right, or whatever. So there's a discovery process, an ongoing discovery process. And in market language, we call it testing. Um, but like there's an ongoing process where you have to do this dance of figuring out how to create what you want to create, but also what other people need. And that takes some time, which is why I always say to people, be prepared to spend time doing this. Because a lot of people who are passionate about the health and wellness stuff, they just want to get right to the part where they're helping people. They just want to get right to the part where they're in the session and they're doing the training or the coaching or the teaching. But if you're an independent practitioner or a solopreneur or you're running your own business, more than half your time is going to be spent figuring out this other stuff, like the sales and the marketing and the branding and the, networking. And, that's just the reality of it, at least for the first couple of years. So you have to have that time and that patience, and you have to be willing to invest in yourself to learn some things that maybe you don't know how to do yet.
Yeah, that's great advice. I mean, because the instant gratification is not usually there when you're just getting started.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the things I just wanted to go back to, because I just honestly haven't heard any of my guests say yet that they would recommend or contribute the formal education to part of their success story. This could just be a really interesting conversation. And by the way, I'm very well educated as well, so I'm not like against this idea at all. I just haven't had a conversation with anybody. But I'm just thinking about my listeners. They're probably thinking that sounds expensive. Right. I already have this certification.
It's not as expensive as running like a failing business for like.
Oh, I love that. I love that answer.
I have people that, all they did was, a certification. I think that's a great place to start. But we talked about at the beginning, like hobby or career, right? Hobby or career.
Yep.
So if I've gotten a 6 or 10 month certification in something like health coaching or wellness coaching or personal training or something, that's a great start. And that's a great place to sort of learn about yourself, to get comfortable and to build up some confidence about what you're doing. It's a great place to connect with clients and learn about them and what they want and what they need. But if you decide, like, I'm going to do this, I'm really going to do this, I'm going to make this my living, this is going to be my income for decades to come, I am going to impact the lives of a lot of people, I want to be respected in the industry. If you want to go down that road, and some people do and some people don't, I think the extra education that positions you as an RN or an acupuncture physician or some credential that is easy for you to get work, I think it will pay off tenfold in the long run. Because when you find a slump in your business, like let's say everybody goes on vacation in the summer and nobody wants you to train them during the summer or coach them because they're all going on holiday with their family. And let's say you end up having 1, 2, 3 months where no income's coming in or a fraction of the income's coming in. So every summer, I teach 3 summer classes at the university. So I know for sure every summer that because I have this teaching appointment that I'm going to have income coming in over the summer, even if all of my private clients go on vacation. And you have those options available to you if you have credentials that are recognized, that you can get a position at a center, a hospital, a rehab, wherever, and have some secure income coming in.
Yeah.
That's the only way that I've been able to maintain such a long career, is having those options.
And sometimes the letters behind your name definitely helps to open doors.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes doors don't open if you don't have the letters. Like it's just not an option, right? So if you want to work in a clinic or somewhere where everything is insurance based, then if you don't have the ability to accept insurance, then you can't work there. So some doors are just not open to people who don't have certain credentials.
And I love what you said. I mean, it's more about, or what really stood out is like sometimes when people are making those decisions, they're thinking very short term instead of thinking decades ahead, as you mentioned.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So if you have to invest, okay, I'll stop.
Oh, no, go ahead. You're on a roll. I love it. Keep going.
No. It's just like, So it's like $5,000 to get your health coaching certificate and maybe $25,000 to get a master's in something like marriage family therapist or social worker or public health administrator or whatever is happening in the field that's relevant right now. So you might go, oh my God, 25, I'm not going to spend 25. I can spend 5 and become a health coach. But really, what's available to you as a health coach versus what's available to you as someone with a master's degree? Like, what is available to you? So I always tell the people that I coach, go out and interview as many people as possible who are doing the kind of work that you want to do. So go to clinics, go to centers, go to private practice professionals, talk to them and ask them about what training they did and ask them about what kind of income they have. And most people will talk to you. Most people will tell you their background and their experience, and that'll give you a good idea of what you need to do to get to where they are. And I still to this day contact lots of people and ask them those questions, so I know what kind of choices to make to achieve my goals.
That's great advice. Let's switch gears a little bit. I want to hear about some of the, not just the successes, but the challenges. We all have challenges. And I'm curious what you will have to say after just the many years, kind of all the transformations you've gone through, like maybe 1 or 2 of your bigger challenges that you've faced and how you've overcome them.
Yeah, the first thing that comes to mind is when I was doing my dissertation research and I was interviewing all the women healers, I asked them the same question. This was 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago now. And I said to them, hey, I'm going where you are. Like, that's the train I'm on. And what do I need to know to prepare for, to anticipate in the next 10 or more years? And one of the things they said consistently to me is prepare for the transformation. They said, you're going to transform. You're going to continue to transform. You're going to continue to fall apart and put yourself back together over the next 10 or more years, because that's the healer's journey. The healer's journey is a journey of transformation. There's going to be times when you're on top of the world, and there's going to be times when it's a disaster and you don't understand what's going on. And you need to maintain your practice, your self-care practice, your spiritual connection. You need to understand that this is just par for the course, and you need to surround yourself with people who are like-minded, who can support you. So during the times when you fall apart, it's no big deal. There's people there that understand you and that can, give you resources and give you love and help you keep going. And that was really, really good advice.
Oh my God. Yes. Yes. I wish I had that advice. Talk about falling apart multiple times.
Right?
Yeah, it's true. That's so good.
Yeah.
And then you touched on some other pieces, which is really important for healers, which is maintaining self-care. So many people out there, and I know the audience listening really can fail at that quite often. And then community. I mean, just the importance for any entrepreneur, and healers as well, but any entrepreneur really, like having the people to like surround you with that fence and hold you up at those times when you lose belief in yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like there's something about being a healer that, you don't just go through the caterpillar butterfly transformation once. It's like every couple of years you go back in the cocoon and come back out a different butterfly. There's just something about this that you're always I don't know.
Do you think
changing.
Do you think it's because we are more intuitive, we're willing to listen and go internal and go there?
For me, it feels as though I don't really have a choice. It feels as though I get to a point where I can't keep doing. It's like driving your car and like the mileage has gone up so high. It's just like it's gotten to the point where whatever I'm doing is not enough. It's not sustainable, and I need to go inside and I need to go, okay, what else do I need? How, in what ways do I need to open my heart more? In what ways do I need to be more compassionate? In what ways do I need to learn or find new insights, resources, tools, strategies? and overcome limiting beliefs and overcome old stories that aren't serving me anymore. And like, I feel that just it gets to a point sometimes where it's just time to shed the skin. And that was the way the women spoke about it that I talked to, was that you will keep coming up against this thing. They described it in terms of the seasons of the year. They said sometimes it'll be summer and sometimes it'll be spring. And in the winter, everything's going to die. And that's fine, and expect that to happen, because you can't have the next spring if you don't go through the winter. So it feels like that for me. It feels like some things need to go when they're not serving me anymore.
That's so good. Those smart women. Smart
yeah.
women. Well,
and now we're saying it, right?
I know. We're carrying on the message.
Exactly.
Well, my dear, the time has flown by. I know you are out into the online universe and available. Where do people go to find you?
Sure. My website is Women in Wellness. It's women-in-wellness.com. You can find me there. You can sign up for my newsletter. There's also a free download on the website, an audio meditation download if you want to check that out. It's available, and it helps you go on this internal journey to kind of figure out the vision of the practice and the work that you're doing. That's available to you, and all my social media links and stuff are there if you want to follow me or get in touch.
Perfect. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah, my pleasure, Michelle. Thanks for having me.
All right, Mavens, thank you for tuning in this week. I would love for you to join me inside the Making the Maven free Facebook community. If you are not a member yet, get your butt on over there, because there is so much good stuff happening. I have a brand new freebie download on how to launch a podcast. So if you're curious, if you're interested in what it takes to get a podcast up and running, that free download is waiting for you inside the Making the Maven Facebook community. If you are looking for ideas on how to get more visibility, traction, build your list, whether that's with a blog or with a podcast, I recently just did a video inside my Facebook group. It's also posted on my Facebook page. So if you absolutely don't want to be a member of my group, but you're really, really interested in learning how to get more intentional and drive more traffic, again, for your blog or podcast, I shared the best tips I've ever heard from the Pat Flynn of Smart Passive Income. Yes, I was able to sit in on his amazing, amazing session at Podcast Movement, and I wanted to share all the tips and tricks that I learned from him. So I did so in a live Facebook stream recently. You can again find that on my Facebook page. But why the heck not would you not join the Making the Maven Facebook group? Because you can get access to that. You can get access to a community of like-minded entrepreneurs in the health and wellness industry who want to be rock stars and leaders in their field, just like you. Plus, you can get that freebie download on kind of the ins and outs of getting a podcast started. And I know you're at least curious. So head on over to the Making the Maven Facebook community, and I'll see you on the inside. We'll talk to you soon.